If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, if you were a fan of Gamergate, Anita Sarkeesian's feminist frequency has in fact shut down.
It's the end of an era.
I guess the
truly.
male gaze is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to
She was the dam holding all misogyny back from unleashing on the world.
May the big titty female characters
here.
be back any day now, right? So it says, she says, with my heart stuffed full of a million different emotions, today I share the news with you that feminist frequency is closing. She starts with her farewell message. Our staff and board members have done so much to help me prepare to make this announcement today, but it still feels like taking a deep breath and jumping off of a diving board to communicate this message to the countless people who have turned to feminist frequency. So I'm sorry. Supported our work and buoyed me over the past 14 years. After I made the conclusive decision that the time had come to close feminist frequency, my first fully formed thought was, holy F, she explained, with her surprise move. We, that's all of us who have been on this journey together, have done so much. We made changes to an industry that were desperately needed. Source, bro. I'd love to see the source on that. Shaking up the status quo and distributing content in the early days of video punditry. That is true. She
in
was
an indirect way, they definitely changed the video game industry because there are no more hot female characters in video games. And if that's what you wanted, you got what you wanted.
And it's permeates movies and television now. You can't
including
so
The Last
she's the
of
one
Us.
to thank for all of that.
Yes, you can thank her. You can send your thank you messages to her. She says, well, I've already said my piece about the harassment that myself and others have experienced over the years. You shouldn't do that, by the way. As much as we're making fun of her, you should not actively harass someone. Reflecting on it now, I can express both a sense of pride that conversations about online abuse have become part of our lexicon and a reality that it has come at a cost of my health and well-being, she added. And so, she should try working for Lizzo.
I love conversations about cyberbullying.
Yeah, it's
my favorite thing to talk about.
That's why I get up
But
in the morning.
I wanted to thank Anita Sarkeesian because really, if you think about it, she's the reason that I'm here today. I started watching response videos made by Sargon of Akkad back in like 2014 and 2015 when I was a wee child, and it sent me down the alt-right pipeline. And now here I am working at Timcast.
Wild.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
I really have Anita Sarkeesian and Feminist Frequency to thank for that. So
what if she hadn't done that?
My condolences.
You wouldn't be here. You could thank Sargon too.
And Sargon.
You can thank Sargon. So, yeah, I don't think this means anything different for video games. I think video games will absolutely still be the same because
they are irreparably damaged.
Yes, the changes that have been made are not going to suddenly revert back to the way they were because Anita Sarkeesian's Feminist Frequency has suddenly gone out of business. You are now stuck with ugly, small-chested women forever in video games.
What about GTA?
Female protagonists now. You're stuck with female protagonists and
Forgot about that.
And your Call of Duty lobby shall censor the bad words forever. So, it is what it is. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what she does next. We'll have to see if she goes into politics.
Where's the grift gonna go now?
She could go anywhere. She can take that attitude to anything because there's a lot of currency to be made now in the act of complaining about stuff.
I mean, really, shouldn't Feminist Frequency pivot to talking about like Twitch streamers, right? And misogyny on platforms where video games are played?
That wouldn't work because the Twitch streamers, the most successful of them are
women.
They
make money off of the misogyny and objectification, so they don't want to stop the objectification.
The women make a lot of money by being objectified on those.
I would love to see a debate between Amaranth and Anita Sarkeesian about titty streaming.
That would be amazing.
Titty streaming, is it getting us toward the female empowerment future we want?
They could have that discussion, and they could have like an OnlyFans. You know what? They could do this on an episode of whatever.
So true. Why hasn't Anita Sarkeesian gone on whatever yet?
They could do this on an episode of whatever, and they could talk about this.
That'd be such a throwback. Amazing.
He could do that. He could do throwback episodes where they talk about old topics, but in the present day. Yeah. Like he can have a Gamergate special where he has on all the people. Like Adam Baldwin is there to talk about it, and there's so many people that could come back. Fly Sargon out.
It's like before Trump was Trump, Gamergate happened, and that kind of like it made a bigger like indelible mark than people realize, I think, on politics.
It kind of all coincided with when they kicked porn off of Tumblr, and then all the worst people in the world invaded Twitter, and the culture was never the same after that. Then Donald Trump walks down the escalator, and the rest is history. And I don't know if we'll have another. I guess that might have been when the Large Hadron Collider switched on and everything got kind of screwed up in society, right? It really does feel like a case of pre and post 2016 for a lot of things. But a lot of people do believe that all roads lead back to Gamergate, which is why the mainstream press likes to bring it back up any chance they can. They like to talk about Gamergate 2.0, kind of like the adpocalypse in that way. Like they like to bring these things up, and it calls back to a time when the culture was a little bit less, like there was a lot less censorship at that time. The censorship really ramped up after that time period, 2014, 2015.
Yes.
And now it's so muddled and so sanitized, and all the discussions, everyone's kind of stuck in their own echo chamber now anyways, so none of the discussions actually happen. Like, some people argue on Twitter, but it's not really all that interesting to me. Like, this was at a very, very different time. It was also kind of coincides with when memetic messaging really picked up, right?
Yeah.
Like, people really understood the power of memes and what you could do with memes in culture. And it kind of
I feel like, do I have
America.
nostalgia for that because I was in high school when that happened? Or is it like the same for everyone? You know, like, I think even if you were an adult when this popped off, you still feel that, like, you still have rose-colored glasses for the way that the internet used to be.
Yeah. Oh, they could get
Definitely.
Frosk on there too.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Frosk. They could get Frosk from G4 TV.
Yeah.
Amaranth, Anita Sarkeesian, and I don't know who's like some very popular OnlyFans girl,
Maybe
and we can all.
Pokimane could also participate in
And
that.
Belle Delphine can come throw water on her bath water on everyone.
I'm still so confused as to why Belle Delphine follows me on Instagram.
We should get her on
That's
the show.
awesome.
Like, it just
Yeah,
happened,
get her
but
on
I
there.
didn't follow her back because I don't really want to see that type of content.
You should follow her and get her on the show.
Bella
We should have her on the show.
That would be a questionable decision, but, you know, probably good for business.
We can talk about her bathwater on the show. Like,
Oh, I
look,
love
did you
this
water the bathwater down, or was that actually all from the tub? Like, did you take just a scoop of bathwater and the rest came from a sink, or was that really all bathwater that you laid down in? I have to know. Mm-hmm. I want to know. So, do you think that we'll ever see something like this again? Do you ever think we'll get another second coming of something like Gamergate?
A renaissance of, in a good way or a bad way?
Either. Do you
Like,
think
to
that we'll
reverse
see,
the damage that
or
that
it gets worse?
they did?
Or it gets worse.
It's not gonna go any direction except downhill.
You don't think that? I'm not saying that. I'm saying
see-
that another one could happen that makes it worse than what it already is, right? So you could have Gamergate.
But there's no
2.0.
enemy left to fight.
They're kind of no. There is an argument to be made that, like, for what happened in gaming, something similar could happen in Twitch streaming or with OnlyFans content.
Honestly,
Probably not OnlyFans content, but I bet you that there could be their own reckoning within the world of streaming.
as a moralist and a prude and a Puritan, I sympathize a teensy bit with their complaints about, like, sexual objectification in video games because, like, really their movement was a giant overreaction to that and, like, correcting way, way far past where it needed to be. Like, in order to combat sexual objectification in media, you don't just make everyone ugly. Like, you can still prize beauty without devaluing it by objectifying beauty. You know what I mean?
It was naggy Karens going into typically men's spaces and telling them how they had to change their entertainment.
I think we tell women to change their entertainment sometimes.
Do guys do that, or do other girls tell women to change their
I mean, on this
entertainment?
show,
Yeah.
we talk about women's entertainment and how it's broken.
What is an example of that? What is women's
Like Barbie.
Like
Like our Barbie review.
Yeah.
It was made for women. We criticized it.
Yeah. But you're not going to tell them that they can't make that movie and that there needs to be fundamental.
yeah.
That's a review of a movie is not the same thing as telling someone that you can't make it the way it is, or that it's actually bad, right? I'm saying that it's a bad movie. I leave it up to the populace to decide whether it's bad for culture and society. Like we talked about yesterday. We talked about people whose relationships are breaking up over the frickin' Barbie movie. Like that says more about the instability of your relationship than it does about Greta Gerwig's kind of messy storytelling.
Right. It was time.
Yeah. Like if the Barbie movie was the straw that broke the camel's back, I don't really buy that the relationship you were in had strong foundation anyways, or you were just so different that it was always going to happen. But yeah, like I think that something like this could end up happening again, but it would have to happen in the realm of Twitch streamers or something like that. They'd have to come to their own reckoning of sorts.
Maybe at some point. We can only hope.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.